Hello, here we are with an unboxing and a hands-on with perhaps what is an unknown brand in the smartphone world. This is Prestigio, and this is the MultiPhone PAP4500 Duo. Now, Prestigio might not be a brand that you're familiar with, but it's a relatively big company that's expanding rapidly, and the MultiPhone Duo is one of the reasons why they are starting to become quite a popular manufacturer. Looking at this retail packaging, let's just give you a rundown of some of the specs of this device. So first and foremost, it's Android version 4.1 in fact. It's a touchscreen. It's a 4.5 inch touchscreen. It's got Corning Gorilla Glass, an 8 megapixel camera, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, HD video playback. As the name Duo suggests, it's got a dual SIM card functionality within this device. It's got GPS, it's got micro SD expandable storage, and it's got 3G UMTS. You've got a bit more of the specs on the back of the packaging here. So the screen, albeit 4.5 inches, has a resolution of 960 by 540, so it's not going to blow you away, but it's good enough. You've got the Corning Gorilla Glass. It's a dual-core processor at 1 GHz. You've got a gig of RAM and 4 gig of onboard storage. So that's where the memory card comes into its own. You've got a 0.3 front-facing megapixel camera. You know, it's kind of VGA resolution. You've got an 850 milliamp hour battery, which is removable. You've got all your sensors, Bluetooth 3, FM radio, and you get quite a good package content. So let's actually open this up and show you what you get. So we have opened up and used this phone previously, but we've put it all back together for you to see. So within the packaging, you're first presented with the phone in a quite nice pouch case, which is quite a rare thing to actually get within a box nowadays. It's often you have to purchase this as an accessory, but it's a leather pouch case with nice strong stitching all around the sides, Prestigio branding on the front, easy access to the phone, cut out for the sort of camera there, so you can easily pull the phone out of the case like so, and here is the phone, kind of reminiscent of the HTC Desire HD and the Acer devices of past, but we'll come back to that in a moment. So also included in the box is a fairly comprehensive quick guide and some regulatory information. We've got a standard USB to micro USB cable for charging and connecting to the computer. We've got a set of in-ear headphones, fairly basic inline microphone. We've got a clip for connecting clothing and 3.5mm jack on the top there as well. In the box, in the one we've got here, is a 2-pin European mains adapter with USB connections. So to this you'll connect the provided USB cable, connect it to your mains power. You will get provided with a 3-pin UK mains adapter as well. And here is the battery. It is a removable battery with a milliamp hours of 1850. So it's pretty good in terms of its capacity for a screen of this size. Of course, we're seeing a lot at 2000 plus milliamp hours, but not bad all in all. So here is the device itself. So here's the 0.3 megapixel front facing camera, got an earpiece, we've got the 4.5 inch display. Just down here, it's not very easy to make out, there are a number of buttons which will illuminate once the device is powered on. On the side of the device we've got nothing with the exception of the volume rocker key at the top here. At the bottom it's completely flush, just a little microphone just down here in the bottom corner. The other side is fairly flush with the exception of the power key in the top corner. And then on the top of the device we've got the micro USB port for charging and connection to a computer, and then we've got the 3.5mm headphone jack just there. Then coming over to the back, we've got the 8 megapixel autofocus camera with LED flash. We've got the Prestigio branding embossed here, Prestigio logo, got the loudspeaker, and it's kind of a glossy finish, smooth back cover. It's not particularly grippy or anything like that. And then what we can do is we can just get our nail in and remove the back cover, and under here is where we insert the battery. You can see we've already inserted 2 standard size SIM cards, so no micro SIMs or anything there, so just standard size. And just here is the micro SD card slot, so you can expand the memory up to 32 gigs there, because the internal memory isn't particularly big. You've got some memory for installing your apps, but your music and everything you might want to put on that micro SD to be able to get more from the device. So if we just power this on, now it's been customized a little bit by Prestigio, not quite to the lengths of Samsung or HTC, but it's not a stock Android experience. You're going to get pretty good at processing speed out of this with a 1.2 GHz dual core processor. It's designed to be a workhorse, really. You know, it doesn't stand out in terms of its feature set, and it's a fairly good value handset. You're not going to pay over the odds for this, so if you need something for work or personal use, then this should really do the job quite happily for you. So at the lock screen, we've got sort of standard unlock options that we've seen on devices of the past. We can click here to unlock the device and go to the home screen. We can go into the camera, to messaging, or the phone. So let's start off by going into the camera. So it's an 8 megapixel camera on here. There's not a lot of customization in terms of the look of the camera, but fairly sort of standard setup. You've got your shutter button just here. You've got your zoom controls where you can zoom in. You've got fuller settings here, so you can go and you can switch HDR on. You can control the flash, your white balance for different types of lighting. You've got some effects. You've got different scene modes, quite a lot of scene modes in actual fact, and then you've got further settings including the exposure, self timer, sharpness, hue, saturation, brightness. You've got quite a lot of control there, of course, at 8 megapixels there. So we can close the settings down. We can flick to the front-facing camera as well if we want to use that, and we can then take pictures. The zoom control still works on the front-facing camera. Can flick back to the rear, and then here we've got control whether we go into video or whether we go into sort of panorama mode. So if we just go into the video, we now get the record icon as opposed to the shutter icon. We've still got zoom controls. We can flick to the front facing camera to record video again. So we click record and we can still zoom in the shot. You kind of get the idea there. You've got further settings for video, including the video light, white balance and effects, and also time-lapse interval. So there's quite a lot of actual settings on this phone, albeit perhaps not the most glamorous of actual interfaces. So using the touch-sensitive navigation buttons that we talked about here, you can go into your system settings. Let's just go down to about the phone to start with. So you can see that it's running Android version 4.0.4 at this time, but the upgrades will come to this device. You can schedule power on and power off. That's quite a nice little feature on the phone if you want to use that. You've got your language and input options, you've got your location, and you've got your accounts and syncs, so you can set up your Google accounts and everything on the device, and as well as Facebook and other services. Control your apps. You've got your battery monitor here. You can control your display, so we've got the brightness, so it's set to automatic brightness, but we can turn that on or off. Set it up to full. We can control the theming of the phone, so you've got some colors, and we could go to this mint color if we chose, and it will change a bit of the setup. We can change the font size here, so if you're hard of sight you can have the extra large font to make it a little bit easier. Audio profiling, whatever suits your needs. Wi-Fi, data usage, Bluetooth. You've got tethering on here as well, so that's useful for sharing your internet, and here you'd obviously monitor your data usage, and it's picking up the 2 SIMs here as well. So we've got mobile data switched off at the moment, but you can control it when it's switched on then to warn you when you're hitting certain limits, and all of these are customizable by yourself. So You can show Wi-Fi usage in there as well. If we go into there, we can control data roaming, and we can set the limits. So if we click into here, and we should be able to, there we go, move it so we can be notified for the data limits, and then we can click into the different ones and see our data usage over different time periods if we want. So really quite a useful tool. And then perhaps most importantly on this device, we've got SIM management. So we've got the 3 SIM in there and an O2 SIM. We both are active. We've got them switched on, but you can switch them off if you choose. So it gives you a phone number. You can edit the SIM name. So switching that off so only one is on, so you could have like maybe a work and personal SIM, or one for just data. You can select which is your default SIM for voice, for video calling, for data connection, so you can choose these options. You also got control over the SIM contacts, so quite a lot of scope there. If we go into the phone and dial a number, it's got one saved on screen, but if you can see we've made a call before. If I click to call, it's going to ask which SIM you'd like to make the call via, and you can choose, and then when you click it, it'll try and dial out via that SIM. Of course, that's not a proper number, so that's that, but you've got all your usual settings, including your call log, sort of inbound, outbound, and your missed calls, and then you've got your contacts on the phone as well. Going back to the home screen, you've got a number of shortcuts added to your screen already, but these are fully customizable. Of course, press and hold on here and you can change your wallpaper, so maybe one from the gallery, so you can go in and select that if you like. You can add or remove things to the home screen, so press and hold and drag up to remove. Click in if you want to add Gmail to your screen, just like that. From the drop down, you've got quick access to your notifications, so we can see we've got a couple of notifications here. We can close those off. We've got quick access to some shortcuts like Wi-Fi, GPS. We can turn all of those on if you like, and you can see how the little icon there is changing as well as we go through each sort of set of shortcuts there. We've got 2 signal strengths as well, of course, for both SIM cards. So in the app tray, you've got a lot of the things that you would come to expect with a Google Android device pre-installed. Prestigio have installed some additional components on here, things like a flashlight, so you can use that on the rear. It's quite handy little just to have that sort of pre-installed. So you can come out of there. You've got a file manager, you've got the FM radio, you've got your gallery. So we've got some camera shots that we've tried on here before, so you can view them in portrait and landscape mode. Go across. The results aren't too bad on this camera actually for the 8 megapixel camera. We've been quite impressed so far, especially at the price point this phone comes in at. So you've got your messaging as well, start a new message, type out on screen, sort of fairly standard affair. Orientate in portrait and landscape mode as well. Going back into the apps, you know, that's really sort of it in terms of what you get. You've got Play Store, so this is 100% official. You can go get all your sort of normal Google Android apps, and of course you can install a lot more. So Prestigio haven't overdone the number of apps that you get pre-installed to basically make it so that you can customize the phone yourself. So if we go into the settings, we should be able to switch Wi-Fi on and off and go then into the main settings. Let's actually connect to wireless network. Just going to put the password in. So that's connecting to our wireless network there. Just going to show you within storage. So in terms of actual space on the phone for apps, it's split. You've got 443 meg there and roughly 1.92 gig there. So about 2.5 gig for apps on this phone. Music and pictures and everything can be stored on the memory card, but all apps need to be stored on the phone memory. So about 2.5 gigs. So if you're gaming or anything, this isn't going to be the phone for you, but you've got some space nonetheless on there to install apps that you might need. So we're just going to navigate through to our website. So it's come up with our mobile site. We're going to go through to the full desktop site here. So if I just click that, takes us through to the main website. We can pinch and zoom like that. We can double tap. We can orientate in portrait and landscape mode. If I just click on a product to give you some text on screen. So it's just loading over Wi-Fi. So we've got full 3G connectivity here if you want. We double tap into the screen and it renders the text for ideal viewing actually on the screen here. So that's a quick look at the Prestigio MultiPhone PAP4500 Duo. Be sure to check out our website and blog for more information.